Did UFOs cause the disappearance of flight MH-370? This has been making the news. This is going viral. This is a crazy story. So let's dig into it. Get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, I have been kind of avoiding covering this story out of respect for the families of the missing, but everybody has been talking about it, and who knows, it could be a legit story, so it's definitely worth covering. So let's go over it. Here we go. Here is the, apparently, supposedly, the flight itself being taken by the UFOs. All right, let's do that again. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? Is that legit? The think tank says MH-370 video is stereoscopic 3D, meaning filmed and stitched together from two different points. NASA has confirmed NRO-L22 is equipped with this technology. So, you know, the idea is that the footage that we just saw is actually satellite footage of this plane vanishing and being taken somewhere by UFOs. And indeed, this apparently corresponds to the actual technology of the satellite in question. The think tank goes on to say there is no way a hoaxer did this. I don't see how a hoaxer can fake this satellite technology that only the government has in 2014. Now I'm going to go over the pros and cons of the story, getting different people's takes on this. So let's go through it. Let's go through all the different opinions out there and what evidence there is available on this incident. Ashton says, breaking MH-370, extremely strong evidence that the plane we see in these videos is in fact MH-370. The coordinates from the satellite video give it a possible location in the South Indian Ocean and tell us they're taken by NRO-L22, the satellite. The WSPR data puts the plane passing directly through the southern assumed position. The WSPR data was not made available until December 31st, 2021, over 7 years later. So the hoaxers who put this thing up years ago wouldn't have had that information. Before then, all we had were the Inmarist pings, which only tell us the distance to the satellite, and thus arcs we presume it could be every hour, not specific location. A hoaxer could not possibly know to detail and the exact later known position of MH-370 while it was flying rogue in the middle of the southern Indian Ocean. Further proof is this news recording of April 6, 3 weeks after the video first is dated back to, which mentions new data revealing the plane turned around the coast of Indonesia, but not exact positioning. And another report done in 2014 that again only shows the ranges, not specific route. And here's the map we're talking about. Here's the satellite number 1, satellite number 2, and here's the route of the missing airliner. Here are the specifics of the flight route. Here's the last ground-initiated ping exchange with the aircraft. Okay, so many people think the pilot committed suicide and used the plane as a way to do that, taking everybody on the plane with him. Well, this person, Ashton, has come up with some strong reasons why he believes that was not the case. Zahari Ahmad Shah has been blamed and vilified under the claim that he flew the plane into the ocean. Based on what we know about MH-370's flight path, this seems impossible. For this analysis, I will use news articles and WSPR data to show the more likely scenario of an emergency event. 1. Last communication the pilot made was 1:19 a.m. Good night, MH-370. The transponders turn off 64 seconds later. WASPR's data show that's not enough time for a hijacking to occur. There are 4 separate transponders that could not have been disabled in this time period manually. After the last transmission from MH-370, the maximum time available to disable the transponder and divert the aircraft was 64 seconds. That leaves an impractically small amount of time for a third party to enter the cockpit and take control. assumption if the pilot wanted to take down the plane, they would have just done it, not flown around for 6 to 7 hours. The idea that he went dark to hide the plane has no logical basis. Of course, you could also say if he was in mental distress, that could explain him taking the plane rogue for that amount of time. Like O.J. Simpson driving around the freeway. 3, the role of the pilot has been routinely dismissed by officials. Koch said his investigations looked meticulously into the background and found nothing to raise suspicion. We have examined the pilot and the first officer, and we are quite satisfied with their background, their training, and their mental health. We are not of the opinion that it could have been an event committed by the pilot. Very interesting. Speculation. An anomalous event happens at 1:21 that takes out electronics communication and possibly depressurizes the hull. The plane could have had a mid-air incident that partially disabled the plane. There was originally the theory of a fire that could have disabled the electronics. Interestingly, burn marks were found on one of the pieces found connected to the plane. And it's important to remember that indeed there was debris from the plane, so if it vanished or was caused to be vanished by UFOs, how does that make sense? Ashton goes on to describe other ways he thinks it unlikely that the pilot actually caused this to happen, committing suicide by way of plane crash. I will provide a link to his theories and allow you to peruse them at your leisure. Uri Geller is getting in on the action. He's also circulating this footage. It is a remarkable footage. Whether it's real or CGI, it's certainly compelling. There you go. There's the UFO. Begins circling the craft. Joined by others. Now, why did that object just freeze there? And then continue on? Is that sign of a hoax? Is that black object the cursor? That black object could be the cursor. Yeah, I think that's the cursor. Vicky Verma has a quote from the book Skinwalkers at the Pentagon relating to all of this. An opening in the sky. Roger saw a silver, gray, and blue flash disappear into an opening in the sky. Roger said in a numb, deadpan voice, that didn't happen. So yeah, portals into the sky. That's something that we have seen over the last few years several times in the movie A Terror in the Sky. Also, if you watch my interview with Robert Scheidt Part 2, you will see a clip of what appears to be a portal opening and a UFO coming out of it. They have also detected portals and portal-like events happening at Skinwalker Ranch. So there do seem to be portals, and there do seem to be UFOs connected to these portals and possibly even causing them to open and close. So there is actually grounds for believing that UFOs could open and close a portal and theoretically even take a foreign object through it. Here's someone saying that a psychic remote viewed MH-370 being teleported by NHI, non-human intelligence, on March 11th, 2014, a day before video of the abduction allegedly was made available. There's also supposedly infrared of this event as well. And it definitely looks about what we saw in the satellite, the supposed satellite footage. There we go. UFOs are going crazy. It's about to make a portal. And then bloop. I guess it portaled out. However, this person is debunking the infrared, saying regarding the trending MH-370, one thing people missed left. This is supposed to be the FLIR thermal imaging green room green equals room temperature, no heat from the engine. Right image is FLIR. The left image is using a FLIR filter to simulate thermal imaging. So this is fake according to that poster. This is what it really should look like if it was FLIR. But it doesn't look like that in that footage I just showed you. It looks like this. So the FLIR footage might be fake. However, what about the satellite footage? Well, Think Tank says MH-370 video was most likely captured from this configuration. Could explain why the weather satellites were down in case they had to use them. Yeah, and here we go. Here we have basically a prettier version of what I just showed you. Okay, so we've seen the remote viewing before the incident, or before the footage was posted. What about a remote viewing done afterwards, looking back on this incident? Well, here we have one from Psychic Focus blog spot. I can't help but feel this plane went into a different layer or dimension of our current existence. I realize this is a very alternative concept, but I just report what I see. I see the jungle, and what I notice most are the leaves. The passengers are looking at the vegetation in complete amazement, but not in complete horror, but rather amazement. They are gigantic. The climate feels warm and humid, but rather comfortable. I also have the images of the plane on a beachy coast as if it coasted to a graceful landing. I can't get the images of the show Lost out of my mind, as if the fundamental situation may be similar. And that's about all she had to say about that. Oh, and here's another weird wrinkle in all of this. Apparently there was a documentary done on the disappearance, and the family members of those on the flight said they received phone calls from their family as if they were still alive after the jet's disappearance. But when they answered the calls, they were met with silence. They tried returning the calls to no avail. The calls would ring indefinitely but not go to voicemail. I think it's interesting, and I'm not sure how it fits into the big picture. Thought it should be put out there because it is something else to consider. Well, it sure is. So there you go. We've got this crazy story about an airplane that may have been vanished by UFOs. And this is supposed to be satellite footage of that actually happening. Is that what we're actually looking at right now, or are we looking at very good CGI? As I've discussed, there are reasons to think that it would not be possible to have hoaxed it based on the information known at the time. So this satellite footage could very well be genuine if that's the case. I think that we need more hands on deck on this. There's a lot of people researching this right now, and we're still in the fog of war on this story, even though it's several years old at this point, almost 10 years old. But it is just now regaining traction, and we have more people interested than ever before. So hopefully you'll actually get some answers. If that one poster was right about the FLIR footage being fake, okay, well, I'm prepared to let that go. What about this satellite imagery? To me, it looks too good to be true. My gut instinct is to say that it's CGI. However, I'm also open to the idea that hoaxers would not have had the information about the satellites handy back in 2014 or whenever this footage was posted. So let me know what you think, guys. Is this legit footage? What are we looking at here? Are we looking at something from a movie? You know, I've seen various movies and TV shows with, you know, this as a basic plot. There was a movie that came out, I think in the 90s, Millennium, 80s or 90s. There was, of course, the TV show Lost. There was the miniseries The Langoliers, based on the Stephen King story, and various others about planes being taken elsewhere. So is that what's going on here, or are we looking at something entirely different? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you see some research that's been done on this that we should all know about, please share in the comments below, because I would really love more information about this fascinating case. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, there's a PayPal button below. Or heck, you could simply become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Meanwhile, there are plenty plenty of other videos to check out on the channel. So I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road signing out.